Right, guys, we've got another cracker for you today. James Dawes from Sports Recruiting USA here, and I'm joined by Dylan O'Kane. Dylan, thanks for joining us, mate. How's things been since you've been home?
Yeah, all good. As good as can be, I suppose, with the coronavirus, but sure, it's the same for us all. What can you do?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not great for everybody at the minute, but just to give you a bit of background on Dylan, I'm sure he'll introduce himself properly. Dylan was playing, he's from Northern Ireland originally, went over to the States to Tifton University at first before transferring over to Wingate. And he's just graduating now from Wingate and is looking to play back home. So, Dylan, I want to start sort of take you back before your time at college and sort of get you a bit of background. Where were you playing in sort of your youth days and what, what was your background growing up?
Up until I was 13, I played for a boys' club called Eddie Irvine's, and then whenever I was 13, I got offered to go to Crusaders, who are an Irish Premiership team, and I went there just to try to play at the highest level I could, and it turned out quite a good success for me. Whenever I went there, I was able to get a wee bit of recognition, and I became a schoolboy international right up until under 17, and then I went to Nottingham Forest Football Academy, Belfast based, and then I would have played in the Milk Cup and stuff for County Down, which is, as you probably know, it's like an established tournament where teams like Man United and all come in. I would have captained them and stuff.
Brilliant. So when did you first start hearing about America? When did it sort of become an option? Like you said, you were around sort of national schoolboy level, so I'm guessing you had a bit of a few options at this time. So when did you start hearing about it?
Whenever I was 16, I was training, and a guy kept knocking on the door for me to consider the US. And originally, it was never. I didn't want to do it. I wanted to stay home. I would still consider myself a home bird, but he kept saying, so I considered it, and then my mum was the one that was able to persuade me to come and do it. She couldn't afford to go to university whenever she was younger, although she was very intelligent. So whenever she put it to me like that, and she says, listen, don't go and try it. See if you don't try it, you'll regret it. And see if you don't like it, come home at Christmas, sure, and you don't have to go back. So I just took the initiative, even though I probably went against what I wanted and went against what my dad wanted. He was a big footballing influence in my life as well. I tried it, and to be honest, Dawsey, I never looked back. It was just, I can tell you how good it was from my perspective, but see, until you experience it yourself, you're not going to understand.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And I think it's a very interesting point, this, because we, talking before we started recording here, and we mentioned there's a lot of guys in your position, like, America's a fantastic opportunity, but maybe it just didn't appeal to you because, you're comfortable at home. You're obviously playing at a high level at that point. And like you said, your mum was sort of the defining factor in your decision to go. What advice would you have for the guys in that position? They're sat at home at the minute, because we're getting a lot of talented Irish lads that are coming to us, and they're sort of weighing up the opportunity. So, what was the sort of deciding factor for you? Do you think, Dale?
Whenever I was 17, 18, and considering it seriously, I was trying to break into a first team and at Crusaders, and that's obviously the hard thing to do at that age. But I felt I can do this, and if you're playing Irish Premiership, that's a respectable level. But so boys are probably thinking, I would rather just try and play first team, and I did too. Because my initial thoughts of going to America was, I want to play with a bunch of Americans. They're all going to be fit and strong, but they're going to be technically rubbish. I couldn't have been further away, because in my team last year, there was 17 different nationalities. Boys that had played for Man City, Preston, Middlesbrough, all these here English, like Premiership academies as well, all coming, and they're all thinking the same as me. Sure, I'll go to the US. The standard's not going to be that good. I'll go and play MLS. It doesn't work like that. You quickly find out. See all these boys that were at professional academies, they all come back. They all go to the US thinking the same thing, and you're playing with a standard of player that's way, way higher than what I anticipated at the start. I remember my first day of pre-season. The sun was 36 degrees outside.
Yeah.
These boys didn't stop. They're just proper athletes, but they could play on the ball as well. Tackles flying in, ball was getting zipped about 1 and 2 touch, And I remember saying to myself then, like, this is what it's all about. There's another level to football.
Absolutely, yeah.
You probably know yourself, see, whenever you're playing back home, a few of the boys take it serious, a few of the boys don't, messers and stuff. Over there, it was like that first training session for me was you had to win, and there was no other option.
Yeah.
Guy busted his nose. We trained 3 times that day, fitness test in the morning, went and done like a technical session in the afternoon, and that had a game at night. And we were playing, a guy was running through, big centre half, just smashed him, head, face off the ground, busted his whole nose open. And I was thinking, you know what, this is a bit of me.
Yeah, no, definitely. I definitely don't look back on. Well, I do and I don't. Pre-seasons fondly because they're by far, you can train all you want back home, fitness wise, and until you get there and you feel the heat, especially if you're further down south in the southern states. You can't really prepare for that, and it's only through doing it. But I tell you what, when you come out of it, you're the fittest you've ever been. You can think you're fit back home, but it takes it to a different level. You're absolutely right. But I want to take you back a bit further, before we get into sort of, college cricket. What you first went to Tifton? What was it about Tifton that that made you commit there in the first couple of years?
To be honest, I spoke to a couple of players. I was late making my decision. It wasn't until December I decided to go, and then I had to do my SAT in January, and then by the time I got my results back, it was March, sorry. And you know yourself, like if you leave it that late in the recruiting process, like you're running the chance of slim and not getting a college potentially, or a good college, because coaches obviously use up their scholarship as early as possible. But Tifton were ranked at the time; they were ranked 17th, and I thought, you know what, like if it's good enough for these boys, it's good enough for me, and it could be a stepping stone. It turned out it was a stepping stone for me. But whenever I was speaking to the coach and whenever I was speaking to the players, like I was speaking to players that have played at a high level back home in England, in particular, Ollie, who was at GA. I spoke a lot with him, and then I spoke with Scotty and stuff, who were players at the time, and they were able just to convince me to go there. And whenever I weighed up the factors, it was probably the best option at the time.
Yeah, definitely. So, like you say, it's important to get going with this early. People, one of the most frequently asked questions for us is, when should we leave it till to sign up and things like that. But like you say, the earlier you get on board, the more options you're going to have available. Coaches are planning 1, 2, sometimes 3 years ahead of time. So it's a brilliant point. But so you talked about it briefly, but I want to talk about your first few days there. You're starting pre-season. You're new to all this situation. What, besides the fitness, what do you think is the biggest difference between playing back home and playing in the States?
The intensity and the professionalism. Back home, like the intensity's there, it's definitely high, but you're playing with players that aren't as fit. And whenever you're playing with fitter players that can think quicker and can play quicker, like it takes its toll no matter how good you are. Whenever like the later pre-season went on, the more I felt I was mentally drained, because see if I slipped, like I was getting punished, and I was used to, not that I want to make mistakes or anything, but if I made a mistake,
you can maybe get away with it. Yeah,
probably get away with it.
Yeah,
but definitely. Over there, like I remember getting caught on the ball when Andre Landale took a ball off me, went down and scored, and I'm trying to make an impression as a freshman. It was the second day of pre-season. And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And you talked, like, obviously you're playing at Crusaders, so it's a very good level, over in Northern Ireland. But sort of, you've touched on it, the 3 days and, the length of practice, stuff like that. Even at that good level at, 17, 18 years old, it's not really comparable, I guess. Am I speaking out of turn there, or in terms of, the difference in, like you say, everything?
No, see, I was playing for the reserves at the time, and if you were to be playing first team football, Irish Premiership, it would be comparable, but I was playing for the reserves.
Yeah.
And the boys at the reserves were all good players. We won the Harry Tabin Youth Cup, which is like the reserve. It would be like the equivalent of the FA Cup or FA Youth Cup in England. And like a lot of the boys then went on to play first team football, but it's not the same. You're playing with boys all over. You're playing for boys all over Europe, all over South America, and you're thinking like they're all playing a different style, but they've all got flair and they've all got. It's just very different. You're used to playing one way all my life, and then the next thing you know, you're playing with boys that they've been playing on the beach all their life, and they're making you look like an idiot whenever you're going to try and tackle them.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting, you know, when you get there, when you've not experienced that before, playing with different nationalities and stuff. I don't know if you found the same, but sort of people from different areas have very different skill sets, don't they? So, like, you talked about there, the South American boys, you know, you play with Spanish players, lads from different parts of Europe and stuff like that, and they all bring something different. Would you agree?
Yeah, it does. Can you hear me? I broke up 1 second.
Yeah. Sorry, mate. Did you get that last question?
No. Repeat it for me, please.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, I don't know if you found the same thing, but, you know, when I played with lads from different parts of the world, so South Americans, you know, different parts of Europe, Spanish, French, whatever, they all bring something to the table that's different to what you used to. Did you find that they all had specific, you know, skill sets that they utilised?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And you find that even they've got skill sets, but even the mentalities are different. Like some players, it's all just a breeze in the park, and there's other players like you know yourself. We'd probably be the most brash for making mistakes and stuff and letting people know, being from the UK. But
Yeah.
for it's a whole different mindset. Whenever it's that professional, you've got that professional element. It's life or death for near enough 99% of the team. You always have a few raters and stuff on the team, and those that couldn't care less, but they're probably the best players on the team whenever it comes to their technical ability, so they get away with it.
Yeah, no. And sort of one thing we haven't touched on yet is sort of the academic side of it as well. So how did you sort of adjust to that? That's also another big factor. Lads like yourself, probably before you go out there, you know, your sole purpose in life is to become a professional footballer. It's probably been your dream from when you were, you know, a young lad. But obviously the academic side is very important on the American route. So how did you adjust to that?
Yeah, to be honest, I was lucky. I don't know what it's like at all the universities, but between Tifton and Wingate, we had academic resource centres. And see if you didn't know how to do something, or see if you were stuck, you took it and one of the tutors would look after you. And if you didn't know how to do something, you find out very quickly. And I utilised that to the max. So I did, because I thought I was smart, but I'm not that smart. So I needed the help. And over there, because if you don't pass your classes and stuff, you can't play. So it was imperative. I need to do well in school, because I don't want to get kicked off a team for not passing classes or taking it easy. Absolutely. From that perspective.
Yeah, it's a great incentive, isn't it? Because again, you've got to stay switched on in the classroom, and I think you're right in what you're saying. You know, the support for student athletes over in America is unparalleled. Like, if you want to be helped, you don't have to be the brightest lad. Everyone's at different academic levels, but if you want to be helped, there's people available within the institution that'll help you. And obviously, you utilise that to the max, and you're coming out with it. What did you study there, Dil?
I studied marketing, so I did, and it was just I did a wee bit of marketing in school and didn't really know too much about it, but it was something that interested me, and I decided to take it further. And see, to tell you the truth, it was a great decision for me, because 4 years later, I'm coming back with a degree, which was never my intentions. I went to America to play football, and now I'm coming back as a more rounded and more intelligent person. And although I didn't appreciate it at the time, now I do appreciate it. And even though I studied marketing, I feel like I've learned a whole load of life lessons in other aspects as well as marketing. And I think going forward, marketing could play a big part in my career. So it was definitely useful and definitely worthwhile.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, like you say, I mean, we always try and reiterate it, but you come away with more than the football aspect. You obviously walk away with a degree. And then there's the sort of the life experience that comes with it. So aside from football, you know, and your studies, do you want to just talk about what it's like to be a student athlete in terms of the lifestyle, how you're treated around sort of campus, and things along those lines?
Yeah. First of all, as an athlete, you automatically gain respect. In America, they take their sports really, really serious. So you'd be walking the class and people would be saying, like, "Good game, Dylan, well played" and stuff. And that's like, I don't even know who these people are, but they're just really friendly. like that they all come and watch the games and stuff. And it's not that I'm being rude or anything. I'm just unaware of who they are. Whenever you're playing football, you focus on the game, and or soccer, sorry. And then whenever you see all these people, even whenever you go out or you go to Starbucks or something, and people would come up to you and they would just talk to you about the game and how the season's going and stuff. And from that perspective, it's a really good aspect from. Like it's good for your confidence whenever you know people are coming up to you and they're saying well played and stuff. Even if you don't think you played well, other people who are watching the game are like they're obviously enjoying what they're doing and stuff, and that there is good. It helps build friendships and stuff as well. And then obviously in the team, I feel, as mentioned it earlier, we had 17 different nationalities. The year before we probably had a few more. And see now, if I wanted to go traveling, I know I could stay in the majority of Europe, down, I could go to South America and whatever, and I'd be more than welcome to stay in their places' homes. Like it's a real family environment, and if someone came before I went to America and says to me, "Here, let me stay in your house," I would have been a wee bit eerie. But this is just a perfect example, actually. See, on Thanksgiving, we were obviously still in nationals, and I was supposed to go to New York, couldn't go. And one of the American kids said that there was 8 of us, says, listen, come to my house, sure, and we'll look after you. So that was really decent. We're there. We arrive at his house. It was only 40 minutes away. And he says, right, there's your keys. Go and leave your stuff in. The family across the road went on holiday, and the 8 lads were allowed to stay in their house. And it's madness, mate. You wouldn't get it anywhere else. But they were so lovely. Like it was just a whole different culture. So it was, honestly, you learn a lot. You think that you probably thought the same. You know everything, and you really don't. Like people.
I think Thanksgiving's a perfect example. I had exactly the same. You know, families welcoming you in and stuff like that, and just the team environment, like you say. You know, you're talking about 8 lads there. You're probably really, really close. You know, all together and stuff like that, and that just comes through. Training together every day. You know, playing matches obviously brings people together. But aside from that, you know, these are the people that you're hanging around about. You know, you're going out and socialising with. I'll put that politely. Different aspects of that. You're going Thanksgiving and things along those nature. So it does really bring you together. And like you say, if you would have said to me, like a lad from Sheffield that I'd be like best mates with, a lad from Mexico, let's say, and lads from different parts of Europe, Brazil. One of my best friends is from Brazil, and I would have laughed at you, to be honest with you. It shows you how big the world is, doesn't it?
100%. See, to tell you the truth, the football is obviously amazing, and it was definitely my favourite part of the day. But see, being in the change room before and after, and the amount of crack you have, it's a whole different thing. See, whenever you're in the change room every day, the tunes are pumping and you've had a good session, or it's class. See, if you're on the winning team at the end of training, your day's set and you're in a mood. See, if you get beat at the end of training, your day's ruined. Trust me, just see that competitive environment and being in the change room after winning stuff. See, after every game we won, whether it be against a team who was bottom of the league or team who was top of the league, we celebrated as if we had won the national championship. And I would see, before I went to America, I expected to win. See, over there, because it's so tough and you work so hard to win, it was madness. I have videos on my phone from the day we won the tournament, and we celebrated the same that day as we would have done against Newbury, for example, and we beat them 4-1. Do you know what I mean? It's just
And
it's madness, but it lasts.
Yeah, do you know what's funny as well? Like, listening to you, how positively, you're obviously really enthusiastic about it. You had time in your life very similar to what I did. But for a guy that didn't even want to go initially, you know, you were umming and ahhing, well, should I do it, should I not? And had it not been for your mum, realistically, you would have not had the best 4 years of your life. It's mad to think that, isn't it?
100%. Oh, 100%. Just if you think, like, you're going over for football and you're going over for your education, and they are your primary reasons. But see, outside of that, the mates you make, the experiences you have. I know you go over for football and they obviously get your degree, but see things like Thanksgiving, spring break, night outs with boys, it's just different. See, whenever you're around them all the time and you have that family environment, See, whenever you're home, I'm out with my mates, say, once a week, but they're working the rest of the week. See, over there, if you have a spare half hour, you're going down to the pool where the music's pumping and everyone's there, and then
Yeah.
it's just a different. You wouldn't get it, honestly. You don't get it in the UK. Like,
Yeah, and it's just, I think it does hit home when you sort of come home and you finish with the college. You definitely look. You maybe don't. You take it for granted a little bit when you're living in it, because, like you say, it's such a norm to go down 20 yards and your best mate's living in the dorm next to you, or anything along those natures. But when you come home, you sort of look back and you think, wow, what a time that was. But I'm going to ask you a bit of a difficult question here, Dale. I'm going to ask you to put your finger on the best college soccer moment. So it can be whether it's from a playing point of view, whether it's from a social point of view or anything like that. What is one particular memory that you look back on and just say, wow?
This last season I had with Wingate, I honestly thought we were going to go all the way. Our changing room was class. We had quality all over the pitch. But see, whenever I came to the big games, we turned up. I remember we won the tournament and we were playing Young Harris. Young Harris is a team full of grad students, so they were big and physical. We're a team that had 8 freshmen starting. And my only sort of doubt about the team was, do we fancy it against a big physical team? They came to our place. Our pitch was in rubbish condition because it had just been a storm. And honest to goodness, there was a player called Mikael who doesn't hit tackles. Technically on the ball, he's amazing. But see, whenever it comes to the physical aspect, he didn't want to know all season. See, this game, he was putting boys over the line and stuff. And I was just thinking, this is amazing. We won the game 5-2. And it was a battle. And obviously you want to get the ball down and play. But see, whenever you're given absolutely everything and the boy beside is given absolutely everything, and you come and beat a team that's ranked number 6 in the country, 5-2, like this is what it's all about.
I'm getting excited thinking about it, mate. It reminds me of the sort of the big games and stuff like that. But yeah, you're 100% right. So, in terms of if you could speak to yourself, at 17, 18 years old, similar to if you could speak to anybody now that's over in Ireland, in the UK, wherever they are in the world, and they're sort of contemplating, shall I go down this route? What advice would you give to them?
See, to tell you the truth, does it? I could sit and explain all the experiences I had, but I would say to him, see, if you don't do it, you're never gonna know. And see, if you do it, you don't like it, you've lost nothing, because you come home 6 months later and you still play for the same team you left at, and you've not lost anything. But see, you've got everything to gain and nothing to lose. Why would you not do it?
Yeah, no, I think it's a good point. Yeah, and like you say, it's sort of the best decision that you made at that point. So, obviously, you're graduating at Wingate now. You've got you're going to have your good degree in marketing. So, what's your plans now? You're home. In terms of footballing, life in general. How has college soccer prepared you for life after college?
See, to tell you the truth, it's been priceless, and I'm not just saying that. See, even now, I'm spoiled. I still live in the house with my family, and my mum does my washing, does my dishes, does my cooking. See, all that before I went to America, it was a kick up the face whenever I got there. Having to do my own laundry, having to put it away.
Yeah.
See, making your own food. See, all that stuff. You think, it sure won't happen to me. You quickly realise that's what it's all about. And see, now I have a 16-year-old sister, and see now me trying to tell her, listen, put them dishes away, wash that cup out after you use it. I'm only speaking from experience. And she's cracking up and saying, you think you're my second dad, will you go over? And I'm sitting there, I just know, like, I was the exact same. But if you don't, it takes you to step out of your comfort zone to grow. And see, whenever you do, like, you realise so many other aspects, just that you realise how close you are to your family, or you realise how close you are to your friends, and you realise things that you would have took for granted and stuff. Yourself, see, coming home at Christmas and stuff, you see all your mates, everyone's excited to see you, you get out for a few parties and stuff. It's priceless, and it takes you to be away to appreciate what you have back home.
Yeah.
And whenever I was away, as much as I loved America, there's nowhere like home. You love coming home. You love seeing your family. You love being around your family and stuff. So
Yeah.
even if it is on lockdown and they're putting their head away because you do their head in and they do your head in.
Yeah. No,
But
I can totally relate, mate. It's yeah. You look back, like you say, you look back and it's a fantastic time. But like you say, there is the sort of no place like home. But like you say, what have you got to lose? You know, you go out there. Maybe it's not for everybody. What type of person specifically? You know, 17, 18-year-old now, or you know, potentially younger, looking at this route. What type of person is suited to the US college soccer route, do you think?
someone who's dedicated for a start. See, if you think you're coming over for a jolly, you're not. Because my day would start between 6:30 and 7 and finishes at 11 at night. And that's a grind. Trust me, see, you're mentally drained or physically drained. You need to be prepared to put it in. And in regards to schoolwork and football, and you need to take it serious, but you also have to, like, if you need to be prepared to come out of your comfort zone as well. There's no point going if you're going to do the same things that you would have done back home.
Mm-hmm.
And what I found with myself was whenever I went, I would have felt that I was a confident enough person before I went, but whenever you're out of your comfort zone and stuff, you grow as a person and you find out things about yourself. Like, whenever I look back at it now, I'm proud that my mum was able to push me to go, because there's not too many other 18-year-olds would leave home. Do you know what I mean? And there's some people do it at 16, there's some people do it at 15, but it's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But see, if you're prepared to do it, it's definitely worth it.
So 2 questions there, and sort of if you could answer them separately, that'd be brilliant. So the first one is, do you think you're a better player because of it? And the second one is, do you think you're a better person because of it?
The first one, do I think I'm a better player? Yeah, definitely. I think without blowing smoke, I think I play quicker. I think technically I'm far better. I've had the facilities to train, especially in the spring and stuff. I could practice my weaknesses, and overall I'm physically a far better player. So I think from that perspective, I've definitely improved. And then as a person, I think that I've just been able to like find myself a wee bit, and I've definitely grown as a person as well. And I feel that now I'm probably more socially aware, more culturally aware than what I was before. So it's definitely benefited me in every way, to be honest.
I've really enjoyed this, mate. It does put it into perspective when you have chats like this, because you know, you just think how lucky we are to have experienced it. And you know, we were talking earlier on, like you said, we could discuss for hours on end why the US route is a brilliant option for guys, you know, who are, you know, passionate about the football and want to better themselves, basically. But like you say, I think you've got to really go out there and experience it to sort of understand where we're coming from and these sort of things. Like we've sort of struggled in some of these aspects to get it across in words, because you know, as you say, it's just, you just look back and it's like, wow, it went in a flash as well.
100%. And see, to be honest, I'm laughing at myself here. People probably think I'm a nut and then I'm just trying to sell this, but I'm not. I'm speaking from my heart. Do you know what I mean? If I didn't like, I'm a straight person. If I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't blow smoke and I wouldn't say that I enjoyed it, but I did. And I'm genuinely so glad that I took the risk to do it, because see, if you don't do it, you don't know. And that's the biggest, if you don't take the risk, you're never going to know.
No, absolutely. Well, Dylan, you know, I'm sure we'll, you know, touch base in the not so distant future. So thank you for giving up your time to do this, mate. It's been fantastic. And yeah, all the best with, you know, life after, when everything resumes with your football and stuff like that.
Yes, no worries, Dozzy. I appreciate it, mate.
Cheers, mate.